All right. So now we're going to have to talk about, well, when can I use the law of sines? Because you can't always use the law of sines. So if you've taken geometry, these little acronyms here probably mean something to you. But if you haven't taken geometry, they probably do not. So what this tells you is what you know in a triangle. So for instance, in the first one, that means you know all three sides of the triangle. So that stands for side, side, side. On the second one, you know two sides and an angle in between those two sides. So for instance, if I had some triangle, you would know this side, let's say that's 12, you'd know this angle, let's say that's 50, and you'd know this side. So the angle that you know is between the two sides, as opposed to being, oh, that doesn't erase very easily, as opposed to being this angle over here, for instance, which is not between the two sides. The last one stands for two sides and an angle. So that's kind of the example I just showed you, where I would know like this side, and this angle. So the angle is not between the two sides. The fourth one here is angle, angle, angle. It means I only know the angles. I don't know any sides of the triangle. This one here would be angle, side, angle. So just like side, angle, side, the side now has to be between the two angles. So for instance, if I knew this was 50 degrees and I knew this was 20 degrees, in order for it to be angle, side, angle, I would need to know the measure of that side that's in between the two angles. And the last one is angle, angle, side. So again, if I knew this was 50, there's an angle, here's an angle, and then here would be the side. So again, it is not the side that's between the two angles. Now it could be this side as well over here, because this still would be angle, angle, side. It's just simply not the side that's between the two angles. All right, so let's take a look as to why this matters when we're talking about the law of sines. So let's just take the first one, side, side, side. So if I had some triangle and I knew this was 12 and I knew this was 15 and I knew this was 20, for instance, then I can't use the law of sines because I need to have at least one angle and the side opposite it, because I need to have at least one of these ratios. I need to know both parts. So in this case, side, side, side will not work for the law of sines. We will do the law of cosines in a little bit, and that will work for that. All right, let's take a look about side, angle, side. So if I have some triangle, I know some side, I know some angle, and I know some other side. All right, so here I have to have at least an angle and its opposite side in order to use the law of sines. Well, I don't know either one of these angles, and there's no way for me to get them because I only know one of the angles. So I can't use side, angle, side. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Side, side, angle. So if I knew this side and this angle, that would work. Because as long as I have one angle and the side opposite, that's enough information, plus one other piece of information, side or an angle. But in this case, I have an angle and its opposite side, so I'd be able to fill this in. Let's look at angle, angle, angle. If I knew this was 50 degrees and I knew this was 80 degrees, that's what, 130, so this here would be 50 degrees. If I knew this, if I knew all the angles, well, I can't use the law of sines because, again, I have to have at least one angle and the side opposite. And in this case, I don't know any of the sides, so that's not going to help. So angle, angle, angle doesn't work. And angle, side, angle. If I had some angle, some side, and some angle, you would look at this maybe quickly and say it doesn't work because I need to have at least one angle and the side opposite, and I don't have that. But remember, if I have two angles of a triangle, I know the third one. So if this is probably not really a good example, but let's just say this was 30 maybe. So if I had 50 and 30, we know that's 80. So again, this isn't drawn to scale. I know that all the angles have to add up to 180. So I know that has to be 100 degrees. So now I do have an angle and the side opposite. So angle, side, angle would work, but you do have to do that one little step with finding the third angle. And let's try angle, angle, side. If I had 50 degrees and 40 degrees and 12, at least I have one angle and one side, so this would work as well. So the configurations that would work would be side, side, angle, angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. Now, it's not really important that you memorize those because as long as you know what to look for in the triangle, you'll be able to figure it out. But I just wanted to kind of give that as a comment. Now, again, it's not like all is lost for the others. There are some things we can do for some of the others when we do the law of cosines.